All right, welcome back. It's still the news, the Breakfast Daily, and we're going to get into another conversation. Right now, we want to talk about the Africa Nutrition Conference. It's the 9th edition of the Africa Nutrition Conference, and we're going to find out from, it's going to be held in Cape Coast, of course, and we're going to find out from the organizers exactly what this conference is about and a little more besides. Let's talk to Reverend Dr. Tom Ndanu. He is a trustee with the African Nutrition Society. He's joining us on Zoom at this time. Dr. Ndanu, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to all your viewers.
Yes, welcome to Breakfast Daily. Now, let's get right into it. So, first of all, this is the 9th edition. What's the idea behind the African Nutrition Conference?
Thank you very much for this question. Children in Africa not discussed the continent, but we found ourselves traveling outside the continent, somewhere else where we get it discussed. And we didn't understand why African issues South Africa. The realities on the problems we have. That confront us so that we can tell our story to our donors and those who please, can you hear me?
Hello? Yeah, we have a little bit of, it's a bit choppy, but I can hear you clearly now.
Thank you very much. Yeah, your question is what led to the African Nutrition Conferences on the continent. And yes. I was trying to explain that the issue of Africa must be discussed first by Africans before people who are outside the continent come to support us or help us. But then previously, African issues were discussed, nutrition and food issues are discussed outside the continent. But those of us who traveled outside to hear the story told about us decided that no, we have to come together and put ourselves together and organize this conference every 2 years to discuss nutrition and food issues on the continent among ourselves before the people outside come to join us so that we can explain our condition better to them. If there's any help they can offer or any good practices, learn also from them.
I like that a lot. So what is the theme for this year's conference?
Well, this year's conference dwelt on the theme food and nutrition in a changing world. Okay. Implication for nutrition security and health in Africa. As you may know, the world is moving at a pace that if we don't catch up, we'll be in trouble. The digital age, the changing in food systems, all these are running so fast that we need to catch up with it and address our problem within the context of the changing world, the climatic issues that we are facing now. Yeah. As nutrition the professionals in that field, we need to gather together and see how best we can look at the changing environment, how we can adapt to it, learn the best lessons, and apply the lessons to solve health, nutrition, and food challenges that we continually face on the continent.
Now, what are you hoping to get out of this conference at the end of the day?
Well, let me mention 3 things. The first has to do with presenting scientific papers on the current solutions that other countries or different countries or different facilities are applying to address the nutrition problems on the continent. So we are going to learn new ways of doing things from others who have been successful. Number 2, the issue of school health, school nutrition has landed on the global agenda. We have over the years spent a lot of time on under 5 children and under 5s. There are a lot of issues on the adults and the mothers and children, but not much is considered on. Now the global attention is addressing the school-age child nutrition and food in relation with the health challenges. So at this conference, we have heard already some solutions that are being preferred. There was a lot about the school feeding program in different countries, how best they are going about it, the challenge they are having. We are learning new things in that area. But finally, as part of these conferences too, the African Nutrition Society that organized the conference has, as part of the conferences, a training program for our new and young scientists for mentoring, exposing them to what needs to be done in their various countries, how they can participate and also be heard. Finally, we have members of the participating group on the conference who are international. Once they hear from us, they present their view of the issues we are dealing with. It is carried far beyond the continent. So these are the 3 or 4 main things we hope to achieve. But then finally, the challenges in Ghana are also brought up so that those who are not aware will become aware and see how best we can handle the issue. So these are the areas we are focusing to make impact on.
All right. So now, as somebody who plays in the nutrition space and has been doing so for so many years, what would you say are Ghana's current nutritional challenges?
Thank you very much for asking this beautiful question. Well, the problem of nutrition was recognized even by our first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and history tells us that he set up a committee right at the presidency after he attended the World Food WHO a conference and realized that if Ghanaians are able to solve their food problems, the other problems can easily be solved. So nutrition issues have been with us right from our independence. But I can say that a lot of work has been done throughout the years. But the fundamental issue of access to good, cheap food is still a problem with us. Of course, economy has a role to play. Secondly, the environment has a role to play. Education of our population in terms of good food, proper dietary practices, they are still with us. Malnutrition has been reduced, but not to the level we expect. Stunting is also a problem. That the greatest challenges we are having now is how the poor dietary practices during childhood through adolescence is tracking into adulthood, exposing more Ghanaians to non-communicable diseases. Across the board, these issues are still there with us. But the good news is that a lot of work is being done at various stages, various areas within the country to address the problem. But currently, the greatest headache is what we are all discussing about, the environmental pollution that is going to affect our food production, availability of the land, the pollution of the foods that we eat, and how it is going to track into the future. Maybe you might have heard that recently studies are beginning to show a direction of some of these contaminated waters that children are exposed to is affecting pregnant women and their children. Across the board, these are issues we are grappling with. That notwithstanding, we have made some progress along the line.
Okay. And so just a quick one, I wanted you to make a comment about where you see us going. If, for example, this Galamsey issues that we are facing, of course, we've had issues with the fact that we may be importing water. We've been warned about that. The Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana is saying that it's very likely, if we don't do anything about this, that they will soon have to import infusions. because the water in Ghana may not be able, they could possibly not be able to trust the quality of the water in terms of the heavy metals and all those things. Of course, we also know this same water is what is feeding our crops. So just a quick comment on where the organization, Ghana Academy for Nutrition and Dietetics, what you're thinking about as far as Galamsey and nutrition is concerned.
Thank you very much. This one, I'm very passionate about this particular issue because in the 90s, I personally carried a study on water pollution, fish pollution, and then that is heavy metal pollution of our waters, the fish and the fish oil that were exposed to. At that time, in the 90s, and that was in 94 to 96, the level of heavy metal, mercury, arsenic, and lead were beyond the tolerable level. And if this is added, there are three things I would want to mention here. Okay. One, even if we solve the Galamsey issue and clean up our waters, in the next 2 years, the effect already generated can go beyond 10 to 15 years.
Wow.
Because these heavy metals have already been settled in the ground, and microorganisms that will absorb it, the fish will absorb it, will go for these fishes that will survive. They are concentrated in their body and we will eat it. If we are able to solve the Galamsey within the next 2 years, the effect can track beyond 10 years. So its agent is now. Another point is this: the water seeps into the soil and the plants will absorb it. And even the foods, the crop food, will concentrate these heavy metals. That is why the effect will still track beyond 10 years. So as far as we are concerned, I am concerned, it is now. Everything must be stopped to solve this problem now. Otherwise, the next 10 to 15 years will be experiencing the negative effect of what we have done right now.
Okay.
The pharmaceutical companies, they are right. It's not, you see, when these heavy metals enter the water, it's not easy to remove them. That is where the danger is. So that's what I'm not sounding alarmist, but that is the reality for now, the implication for nutrition, food production, and health. This is self-inflicted curse upon ourselves.
Right. Now, if you can also just help us to understand, when we say heavy metals, I mean, I know mercury is one of the big ones, lead is also mentioned, but there's things like cyanide, arsenic. Yeah, so if you could just give us like a list of the typical suspects.
Okay. The study I carried out then, it looked at cadmium, arsenic, lead, mercury, and selenium.
Okay.
Selenium is not considered a heavy metal. It's supposed to be, it is a nutrient. It's a mineral that the body uses.
Yeah.
If you have enough of the selenium, it can compete with the absorption of some of these heavy metals. But the selenium level is normally very low. But arsenic, cadmium, lead, mercury, they are the greatest culprits of heavy metals. Cyanide is not a heavy metal. It's a compound, poisonous compound. So these are the major heavy metals that affect our health. And they affect the brain, the liver, the lung. Every part of the body the heart can be affected by these heavy metals. So what we are dealing with, people take it for granted, but the long term, we are going to come back and say, this is what we did to ourselves when we were younger. And in old age, we will face it. So these are the major concern ones that I've just mentioned to you.
Now, before we wrap this up, just another quick question on this issue here. When we look at our food crop, the various things that we eat typically in Ghana, which ones are most in danger of being contaminated and therefore posing the greatest threat to us as a society?
Well, generally, all across the board will be affected. Let me explain. You see, we have the root crops. We do a lot of it. We eat a lot of yam, cassava, cocoyam, the root crops. They are already in the soil. So they can easily absorb these minerals. So that is number one.
Okay.
When it comes to the fruits and vegetables, they grow very fast. Because they grow very fast, the fast growth require a lot of absorption of minerals. And as they are absorbing the mineral that will help them grow, they will absorb this as well.
Okay.
The fishes, if the water is heavily polluted, the tiny organism that survive in the water, they will absorb this, and the fish will use the planktons in the water, and they would then concentrate it in their bodies. By the time you go up the food chain, you have higher levels of these heavy metals. So across the board, any food other on the food grown on the ground or in the water, all of them will be affected. That's we are joking with our own lives with this thing that unfortunately we have made it very political. Has nothing to do politics. It has to do our livelihood, our very existence, and that of our generation.
And finally, where do you see the field of nutrition, let's say, the next decade?
It's exciting for those of us in the nutrition fraternity that now we are not only concentrating on food production and food marketing. We are looking at the food environment to ensure that whatever process, activity that surround our food and our food consumption are well regulated, so that one, the foods are safely produced, processing ensures the food to have high quality for our benefit, and thirdly, nutrition is emphasizing too much of everything is bad. We don't need to take it too much of one against the other. Nutrition, dietetics, and health is emphasizing. Consider your physiological state. Meet your need. Be active. So nutrition has succeeded in bringing various aspects of the food environment, the food issues, has focused into the overall health as coming from the food we eat. So the statement we are making, nutrition says that you are what you will eat. Therefore, watch what you eat. Learn about how much and how you should eat, and eat well.
Fantastic. Now, I know you started yesterday, so when does it end, and how can people participate in the conference?
Thank you. In fact, it started from Saturday as we had two pre-conference sessions. The formal conference started yesterday, as you said. We'll be ending it formally on Thursday, but we have a post-conference activities, that's workshops on Friday. So that is it. But to participate, you will have to register, go to the ansnet.org. You go there, the conference information is there. You log on, you can register online and then join online. But if you want to come here, please, you can come over. All the information you will need to join or to register and join the conference, they are provided on our website. So I invite all Ghanaians who are listening to me to get involved and join the conference if they so wish. We wish them all the best.
Thank you very much, and we wish you all the best as well, and the entire conference as well. We've been speaking with Reverend Dr. Tom Ndano. He is a trustee with the African Nutrition Society, and the conference that is going on in Cape Coast at the moment, the 9th Africa Nutrition Conference 2024 is taking place there. All right, let's take a look at our entertainment highlights, and there's more on Breakfast Daily.